It's time once again to talk about the upcoming NCAA football game from EA Sports, which is going to be titled EA Sports College Football. Now in today's video, we're going to hear some words from the president himself of EA Sports. We also had another confirmation from EA CEO a few days ago, and we got another small leak from Matt Brown recently as well that's pretty exciting. Now we're going to be getting a ton more news about this game over the next couple of months, so if you don't want to miss out on any of those important videos when they drop, make sure to subscribe and turn the bell icon on so that you're always up to date with the latest info for this game. I'm trying to hit 600k subscribers before this game comes out, so if everybody watching just subscribed, we could literally hit that number in a few days. Now I talk about this in every video, but one of the bigger things surrounding this game are some of the naysayers that believe it's either not real or not coming out. And I know some people on the channel get tired of me bringing this up every video, but there are a lot of naysayers out there. Well, in today's video, we're going to hear some words from the EA president himself talking about the game and kind of where they're at, as he did a recent interview. But also just a few days ago, we got another bit of exciting news as EA's CEO Andrew Wilson briefly spoke about the game on EA's earnings call today. So some of you may know, or maybe you don't know, but these big companies, they have their earnings calls usually every quarter, and they kind of talk about where they're at business-wise and some of the upcoming plans. And during the earnings call, EA CEO Andrew Wilson once confirmed that the game is coming out this summer. He wouldn't go into details about that because they're going to be releasing official details soon, but he once again confirmed that it is coming this summer. And with us just being a few months away and they keep kind of confirming this every few weeks, I think that should kind of settle people down who think it's not coming. But if you want more info, we have an interview from the EA president from a little bit ago where he was kind of talking about where they're at with the game, what they're currently doing, and I found it pretty interesting, so I'm going to play some clips of that interview, and I'll also be linking the full video interview below in the description if you want to check out the entire interview from the podcast. Now before we continue with the video, I do want to shout out today's video sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. If you like sports and you like trying to win money, then you need to be on Underdog Fantasy playing their pick'em game. For any game, for any sport, they're going to have a wide variety of player stats, and all you simply have to do is pick higher or lower, and if they hit, you can win some big money. But the best part about Underdog Fantasy that I love is for new users, they always give you a free play right at sign up. And with the Super Bowl coming up, there's going to be a ton of specials coming over the next week, and right now they already have the Patrick Mahomes special for the actual Super Bowl game, where all he has to do is pass for 1 yard, and that's it, you win. And on top of all of that, Underdog Fantasy is also going to be giving away $1 million in Underdog credit on Super Bowl Sunday. All you need is a verified Underdog account, and you're liable to get some free money to play with. And with the $1 million in giveaways, they're going to try to spread that around to as many people as possible. But the best part is they also will double your first deposit up to $100 if you sign up using my promo code RAY, R-A-Y. So if you deposit $100, you get an additional free $100 to play with, and you can't beat that. Again, make sure to get in before the Super Bowl because there's going to be a ton of specials and ways to win money that you do not want to miss out on.
Let's talk college football for a second. Give us an update on where that stands right now, as it seems like NIL restrictions and rules change by the minute or by the day, even state by state. What is the current thinking and plan for EA Sports to have players in that college football game next year?
First of all, I mean, I'm super excited. I'm a football fan first, and former football player, and I love the sport, and I love that franchise. But I'm super excited about the game, and I think like we've assembled a team of, some of it are internal folks that really want to work, and some of it is like we brought back people that were from the former team, and then we brought in a lot of new people as well. But every single person on that team that's building that game loves college football, and so it's a game that the love and passion for the sport is being poured into everything that they're doing. It is very much a rebuild of a lot of the stuff in the game. So all the modes like Road to Glory and Dynasty and these modes that we had back in like 14 and 13, I mean, that's like almost 10 years ago now, that we've essentially had to rebuild all of those things and all of those experiences. Things like what is recruiting like now versus what it was back then. It's totally different. And so trying to represent the modern sport and the modern nuances of how the sport works in a super authentic experience. And so I'm super excited, and the team is making amazing progress. We are going to launch it this summer. You know, we've talked about, we do want to bring in some players as well through NIL, and there are so many players, like tens of thousands of players that play on these massive college football rosters, and they move around constantly. They're in, then they're off to the pros, and so it's not the same as what we do with licensing and likeness and in other sports where we have these professional league organizations and we license that and then we get the roster and we put it. It's a very, very different thing. We have not announced what we're doing with NIL, and there's been rumors out in the market.
Let's clear it up. Let's clear it up here and now.
I am not going to today talk about what our plans are. We're still working through finalizing those deals.
On the school side, I don't know if you can say how many of the 150 FBS schools you guys have committed, but
I mean, the last that I checked, I meet with the team every couple of weeks. The last I checked, we have a lot. I don't have the latest number. I think we're at least 130. So we're really close to getting everyone.
Now, some of the interesting things he mentions in this video is further confirming some of the stuff we know, like Dynasty Mode, Road to Glory. Those are going to be the two biggest focuses for them. We have heard that there is going to be an Ultimate Team, but kind of to be expected because the last NCAA game had one as well. But good to hear where their big focus is, and they keep kind of reiterating that Dynasty Mode and Road to Glory are those things. Talking about NIL and trying to get as many players included as possible. We know that they have some type of an opt-in system, and from what most players have said that are a part of college football, most players want to opt in. They want to be in the game from what it sounds like. But the other thing he kind of mentioned was having all the schools in the game. Now, as far as we know, the latest reports are that all FBS schools should be in the game. That should be pretty much nailed down and pretty much finalized at this point. In terms of FCS schools, I've seen a lot of people ask questions about that. FCS schools, it's been rumored that they're probably not going to be in the game at launch, but it could potentially be either like later updates, downloadable content. There wouldn't be microtransaction based. It would just be like an update for the game as we get for Madden and games like that, where, you know, you download the update and sometimes you have new player likeness or you have new uniforms or different upgrades in the game. It would be one of those kind of things. Or, you know, it might potentially be something that they save for the next year's game as a selling point, that now we have FCS schools. We don't know exactly when they're coming, but they said it wouldn't be something we'd have to wait a long time for, but it likely will not be in the game at launch because their biggest focus is just making sure that they get every FBS school in and get much of the actual players in as possible, and make sure that not only are they getting those things in, but they're getting all of the details down for all these different schools, like their anthems, their crowd chants. They're getting actual audio from the crowd, actual licensed music. They want to make sure that they nail all the details down for the home field advantage, the atmosphere, the rivalries. So they want to get all that done for the large majority of the FBS schools. And once they get that done, then they start working on FCS schools, because it's not really just a matter of putting schools in the game. It's more so that they kind of want to put them in the game the right way. Now, the last bit of info we have here that came from Matt Brown a few days ago is that he said, from everything that he's been hearing, that we should start getting a lot more official details from EA themselves over the next 8 weeks. That was always kind of the window of where they really wanted to start dropping info. Of course, it was rumored that they may want to start dropping info earlier than that. We heard during college football season. We heard even possibly during the national championship. But obviously that didn't come to pass, as they were just potential things that were on the table but were never actually confirmed. But from what he has said and what he has heard, he said over the next 8 weeks at some point, we should start finally getting more info from EA Sports, whether it's a release date, a cover athlete, maybe some more details about the game itself. So we're getting pretty close now, and we should start to have more to sink our teeth into, which will be really good. Also, for people expecting something during the Super Bowl, that's kind of the new thing people in the community are jumping to now, because we didn't get something during the national championship game. So now people are assuming, oh, they're going to drop a teaser during the Super Bowl. I would not expect that at all. I've heard nothing about that. Matt Brown has heard nothing about that. This isn't even really a rumor like the national championship thing was a rumor. This just kind of seems like people in the community just assuming that that's going to happen now. I highly doubt EA is going to be teasing something during the Super Bowl, because that, number one, is just ridiculously expensive, and they don't need to do that because the hype for the game is already high. They could drop the game tomorrow with no info and it's going to sell like crazy because people want it that bad. So I don't really see them doing something during the Super Bowl. Hey, if that happens, that'd be great. I would say that there is a 99.9% chance that that doesn't happen though, so don't get your hopes up for that. Now, if you want to know more about some of the confirmed features and leaks that we've heard for this game, make sure to check out this video right here on the screen.